What's up? I forgot which window I had the thing SoundCloud open in. So yeah, what's up? Let's talk about unions. 'Cause we got some union stuff happening. I figured it would fit with me talking about like food not bombs and stuff. And all of that. Liberators. Hey, what's up, Fade? The woody juice, yes. Is that my phone? That's loud. Alright. So, I have 3D print going. You could tell, yeah. It's also been just. I've been really tired all week. The juice is loud. I've just been. I'm gonna need to take a break from the stream and shit soon, but I wanna do this though. Alright. I see I'm dropping frames a little bit. Am I still streaming? Is the stream still going? Alright, it's still going. I have a 3D print going for Gremlow that I think is going to work out. I think I finally got the correct orientation and everything for it. Honk if you're in here. If you're still. If you're still upon me. Ponder. Yo, what's up, Kuma? We're going to talk about unions today. I'm hitting up, before I go into too much detail, I'm hitting up my co-host to see if I can actually talk about a lot of these joints. So we got an interview with Matt from the BMA about the BMA union. Robbie just did an interview with Madison from Micah about Micah's union. We're talking to Tyler about working on a Strawberry Mansion joint. We got some other stuff we're working on. But, boy, we gotta talk about the Amazon union, don't we? Is that big enough? That big text? There we go, there's big text. Workers at Amazon.com Inc. warehouse in New York City voted to form the first union at the second largest U.S. private employer, a victory that adds to recent grassroots successes by labor activists pushing into new industries. Employees at the online retailer's fulfillment center. Amazon getting a union will be a huge win. Oh, for sure. No doubt. Employees at the online retailer's fulfillment center in the borough of Staten Island, known as JFK 8, secured a majority by voting 2,654 to 2,131 in support of the Amazon labor union, or about 55% in favor, according to a count released on Friday by the National Labor Relations Board. The vote represented a victory for U.S. organized labor and a milestone for labor advocates who for years have considered Amazon's labor practices a threat to workers. Union organizer Christian Smalls, dressed all in Amazon labor union red, raised a hand in victory after the win, while ALU members popped champagne in celebration. Champagne socialism, let's go. We're disappointed with the outcome of the election in Staten Island because we believe having a direct relationship with the company is best for our employees, Amazon said in a statement, of course. The company added that it is evaluating options including filing objections based on what it called inappropriate and undue influence by the NLRB. A spokesperson for the NLRB noted that it is an independent federal agency and said its actions have been consistent with its congressional mandate. Shares of Amazon closed at $3,271.20, up less than 1% on the day. Assuming the vote clears any objections and the union is certified by the NLRB as representing employees, union negotiators would still have to bargain with Amazon in order to deliver on expectations of better compensation and working conditions. Giba Sando, I'm sure I butchered that name and I apologize, a package sorter who voted for the union after working more than 2 years at JFK8, said he was thrilled. With the union together, we are united, Sando said, adding that the labor group could help workers advocate for better pay, break, and vacation time, which is, I don't see how you could disagree with any of that. Many doubted Smalls when he announced plans to unionize JFK8 last year. But he set up a tent outside the warehouse while supporters in the building touted how a union could demand higher wages, safer conditions, and job security. Amazon was founded in 1994 as a small virtual bookstore by now billionaire, with a B, Jeff Bezos. The company in mid-2021 said it had just under 1 million U.S. employees and it now has a market capitalization of about $1.7 trillion. Walmart Inc., sheesh, the number one U.S. private employer, has nearly 1.6 million U.S. employees and is not unionized. Dan Cornfield, a labor expert and professor of sociology at Vanderbilt University, called the vote a momentous victory for working people who are doing homegrown union organizing. Cornfield said he expects the win to accelerate the already rapidly growing labor activism across the U.S. retail sector. It's almost like a David and Goliath type of victory, Cornfield said. There's already a wave of activism occurring, and this will encourage more of that. So that's cool. U.S. President Joe Biden was glad to see Amazon workers' voices were heard, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said. Psaki added that Biden believes that every worker in every state should have a free and fair choice to join a union, and the Amazon workers on Staten Island made their choice to organize a grassroots union, bargain for better jobs and a better life. Other recent labor drives are picking up momentum. 9 U.S. Starbucks stores have voted to organize, with more than 150 more seeking elections. At an Amazon facility in Alabama, by contrast, a majority of workers rejected unionization, though the outcome was not final. The Alabama contest could hinge on 416 challenge ballots to be adjudicated in the coming weeks, which are sufficient to change the result, the NLRB said. The situation is far different from last year, when workers sided with Amazon by more than 2-to-1 margin against unionizing. Sheesh. Amazon workers responded to more in-person outreach by labor activists as the pandemic subsided. A second company warehouse in Staten Island, LDJ5, will also vote on whether to unionize starting on April 25th. The number of employees eligible to participate in the Staten Island vote was 8,325, the NLRB said. So that's pretty fucking cool. Let's see if there's actually any like sweet React Andy content that I could do. Z News to watch. Reuters actually has a video.
In a landmark victory for organized labor, workers at an Amazon warehouse in New York City voted on Friday to form the company's first ever labor union, delivering a strong rebuke to the nation's second largest private employer. 55% of employees at Amazon's fulfillment center in Staten Island, known as JFK 8, voted in support of forming the new Amazon Labor Union, or ALU, according to a count released by the National Labor Relations Board. Labor advocates for years have considered Amazon's labor practices to be a threat to workers.
And today the people have spoken, and the people wanted a union.
Union organizer Christian Smalls and others popped champagne in celebration.
We want to thank Jeff Bezos for going to space, because when he was up there, we were signing people up. We was down there campaigning.
Amazon, which had warned employees about the potential
funny.
pitfalls of unions by posting notices in bathroom stalls and holding mandatory meetings, issued a statement Friday saying, quote, "We're disappointed with the outcome of the election in Staten Island because we believe having a direct relationship with the company is best for our employees." It added that it is evaluating options, including filing objections based on inappropriate and undue influence by the NLRB. A spokesperson for the NLRB said it is an independent federal agency and its actions against Amazon have been consistent with its congressional mandate. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that President Joe Biden was glad to see that workers' voices were heard.
He believes firmly that every worker in every state must have a free and fair choice to join a union and the right to bargain collectively with their employer. The Amazon workers in Staten Island made their choice to organize a grassroots union and bargain for better jobs and a better life.
Other recent labor drives are picking up momentum. 9 U.S. Starbucks stores have voted to organize, with more than 150 more seeking elections.
We don't believe that we need a union to be an intermediary between us and our employees.
Let me congratulate the Amazon Labor Union in Staten Island for their extraordinary victory. For the very first time, they were successful in organizing a union at an Amazon facility. And this is an independent union with almost no financial resources. And they were successful in taking on one of the largest corporations in this country, owned by Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest people in this country. And what that victory in Staten Island tells me is that working people all over this country are sick and tired of seeing corporate profits soaring. They're seeing billionaires become much richer, and yet they don't have adequate wages, adequate benefits, adequate working conditions. My guess is that this victory in Staten Island will not only mean more organizing at Amazon facilities around the country, I think it's going to be a shot in the arm for the labor movement, and you could see more and more workers stand up and say, you know what? We want justice on the job. We also are going to form a union. So once again, congratulations to the Amazon employees in Staten Island. What you did is extraordinary. It'll impact the entire country. Thank you.
So that's sick. Let's watch some Elky stuff.
In 1794, Philadelphia cordwainers formed a union, the Federal Society of Journeymen Cordwainers, to protect their wages at a time of uncertainty within the craft. These shoemakers were among the first to engage in an innovative new process, and it worked, generally giving these workers wage gains until an unsuccessful strike in 1805, which led to the indictment of 8 journeymen. The following year, in the court case Commonwealth v. Pullis, these shoemakers were found guilty of conspiracy, the unnatural process of combining to fix wages, a precedent which lasted until 1842, even though workers were charged with conspiracy over the next 30 years at least. Anyway, 200 years later,
I want a huge round of applause. It is still working!
So we're familiar with what a union is. And now you must be wondering,
how do they do it?
How do they get their members those sweet, sweet perks? Why, through collective bargaining, of course. But what is collective bargaining? Collective bargaining is the process by which unionized workers and an employer negotiate a contract outlining pay, benefits, and working conditions. This process more or less goes as follows, though it is an oversimplification, so please take it with a large helping of salt. In one corner, a negotiation team known as a bargaining committee is assembled to represent the workers and present demands, while in the other corner, the employers send their goons who present concessions. The process by which employers try to take away previously won workplace improvements is known as concession bargaining. Both sides then argue over the demands and concessions basically until one side makes a juicy proposal to reach an agreement. If the bargaining committee likes the agreement, they will recommend the workers they represent vote for it. The workers can then reject it and the committee renegotiates. If the current contract expires with no new contract, well, we'll discuss what happens in the next episode. But understand that this process happens until the workers vote to ratify a new agreement. If the workers vote to accept the agreement, then it is ratified. The final result is known as a collective bargaining agreement, a legal contract between the union and the employer outlining pay, benefits, working conditions, und so weiter. Now, I am not a lawyer, but speaking of labor law, most workers have the right to collectively bargain with their employer. Airline and railroad workers are covered by the Railway Labor Act, while most private sector workers are covered by the National Labor Relations Act. Specifically, Section 8A5 of the National Labor Relations Act makes it an unfair labor practice for employers to refuse to collectively bargain with union representatives, though they can and will delay the process as much as possible. Anyway, I think that's enough labor law for this episode. Lastly, I want to discuss the potential drawback of collective bargaining. While this process gives workers the right to negotiate for workplace improvements, it can also take some other important rights away. Nearly every collective bargaining agreement contains a clause not to strike or engage in other forms of direct action for the duration of the contract. They also often contain a management prerogatives clause, waiving the union's rights to collectively bargain over certain issues and giving management the unilateral right to hire, punish, fire, etc. during a contract. But these points deserve a video of their own. And now you understand a bit of the history of collective bargaining, what it is, the laws that protect it, and its potential drawbacks. Thanks for watching. Next time we're talking about direct action in the workplace, everyone's favorite part of organized labor, and a topic that is especially relevant right now. See you soon! Unions. They achieve shorter work days, the weekend, and ended child labor. Well, relocated, but that's a topic for another time. All of our lives would be exponentially worse without unions. But anti-union propaganda has erased this fact, and what a union is from the minds of many workers. Let's fix that. What is a union? A union is an association of workers coming together to achieve common goals. These goals can be anything that the workers desire, and there's a wide range of them. Within the workplace, unions fight for higher wages, shorter work hours, safer working conditions, job security, more vacation days, improved healthcare plans, better retirement plans, more respect, trans rights, and so much more that I literally cannot list everything. And these can extend beyond the workplace. Unions have fought and continue to fight for various social and political goals like desegregation, in some cases Medicare for All or a Green New Deal, and some even pursue the abolition of capitalism itself. We almost exclusively think of unions as national or international organizations like the Teamsters, the SEIU, or which some in the labor movement call formal or established unions. But a union in its simplest form is two or more workers fighting for improvements at a single workplace. Workers do not have to join an established union, get certified, or even get a contract to be a union. Each of those avenues comes with benefits and legal protections that workers often find worthwhile. But they also come with drawbacks. We'll discuss those benefits and drawbacks in a future video, but it's important to understand that workers have options. Lastly, let's talk about union models. There are several different types of unions and unionism, but today I want to introduce just 3. For instance, the earliest form of unionism and the one that most people think of is craft unionism. Craft unionism is a union philosophy where skilled workers are organized into unions based on their trade or craft. This is in contrast to industrial unionism, where all workers within a single industry are organized into one union regardless of their skill level. The conflict between these two deserves its own video, but it's worth knowing that the AFL embodied craft unionism during the early 20th century, while the CIO embodied industrial unionism before they combined in 1955. Speaking of the AFL-CIO, it is not a union despite what many labor journalists report. It is a labor federation, or a group of unions that pursue common goals regardless of union philosophy. It's a union of unions, if you will. Within industrial unionism, there exists revolutionary unionism, a model of unionism that organizes workers on an industrial basis with the goal of abolishing capitalism. Revolutionary unions fight for the same goals as labor unions in the near future, but seek to transfer the means of production to the workers in the not so near future. The IWW, the industrial workers of the world, not the international workers of the world, is one of the most famous examples of this type of union. I'm a wobbly, so you can expect to learn more about the philosophy of this organization and its evolution over the past century here. Naturally, revolutionary unionism opens up the conversation to syndicalism, and depending on who you ask, these are either the same thing, or the latter is a much narrower concept of the former, but that deserves a video of its own. And now you understand what a union is, and have some knowledge on 3 different types of unionism. Thanks for watching. This was the first in a series of short videos that will discuss theory related to organized labor. I have several of these planned, but please suggest topics in the comments below, and give this video a like if you want to see more of this kind of content.
I fucking love Alki's content. Let's watch this, because this is cool.
And Dry Dock Company, a co-op founded by black workers. Hello, and welcome to Seize the Means September. This month we're going to look at different examples of organized labor that involve workers seizing the means of production. Today we're looking at the Chesapeake Marine Railway and Dry Dock Company, a co-op founded by black workers in Baltimore to evaluate how successful this experiment was and how effective worker co-ops might be in the future. First and foremost, what do I mean when I say cooperative, usually shortened to just co-op? There are many different types of co-ops, but I'm specifically talking about a workers' co-op, which can be defined as a cooperative that is owned and self-managed by the workers. This can be achieved by the workers electing the management of the co-op, or where the workers vote on workplace decisions directly, but democracy is the most important part here. Co-ops, especially co-ops formed by workers as a form of organized labor, aren't a new thing by a long shot. There were at least 2 recorded co-ops formed in Philadelphia within the first 50 years of the United States. One in 1791, a mere 2 years after the ratification of the United States Constitution, was formed when carpenter journeymen walked off the job for the 10-hour day. They formed a co-op where they worked 10-hour days and charged 25% less than their employer to undercut his profit, but this temporary co-op was only planned to last for the duration of the strike. In 1806, shoemakers Peter Paulin and Undriel Bacchus unionized and struck for higher wages. They were arrested and charged with conspiracy because unionizing was not yet legal. Rather than go back to their former employer, they chose to form a boot and shoemaking co-op. How successful these co-ops were has been seemingly lost to history, but it at least demonstrates that skilled workers use co-ops as a form of organized labor. Right, let's talk about Baltimore and shipyards. From the early to mid-19th century, free and enslaved blacks worked in various trades on Baltimore shipyards, especially in the trade of ship caulking. Ship caulking is the process where oakum or some other material is driven into the seams between the planks of wooden ships and then covered by a waterproof material in order to make the ship watertight. It was an important step in shipbuilding and maintenance, and as a result, this trade was very important to Baltimore, with it being a major port and all. Blacks were so well represented in this trade that they formed a union known as the Caulkers Association in 1838. This union negotiated wages and working conditions for black caulkers, who received $1.75 a day, which was quite good for the time. However, in the 1840s and 50s, black workers gradually began to be replaced by white immigrant workers. Whites often used violence to push blacks out of the shipyard trades, and employers stopped hiring black caulkers. Finally, in 1865, white caulkers and ship carpenters struck against the employment of blacks as caulkers on the shipyards of Baltimore. The strike, supported by the city government and the police oddly enough, was successful, and black workers employed in trades at the Baltimore shipyards were dismissed. This brings us to Isaac Myers. Myers was born a free black Baltimorean in 1835 in the slave state of Maryland. Unable to attend public schools because he was black, he was educated in a private school until age 16, when he entered an apprenticeship and became a ship caulker. Myers himself was a particularly skilled caulker, and within 4 years he was already superintending the caulking of clipper ships, the large speedy merchant ships used in the mid-19th century. In 1865, he was one of the caulkers who lost his job in the shipyard. Myers, along with several other black workers, responded not by leaving Baltimore, but by forming their own cooperative company, originally called the John Smith Company, but later renamed the Chesapeake Marine Railway and Dry Dock Company. They raised $10,000 selling shares at $5 each and borrowed another $30,000. Frederick Douglass, a former caulker himself, supported the cause by becoming one of its first stockholders. The venture initially ran into trouble because the white shipyard owners refused to sell a shipyard to the black caulkers, but a white businessman named William Applegarth agreed to be an intermediary. He purchased a lease on Lot 42 on Philpott Street, and the co-op opened on February 12, 1866. So, was the Chesapeake Marine Railway and Dry Dock Company successful? Yes. Within 6 months, the co-op hired 300 black workers, and later even employed some white mechanics. Workers repeatedly received $3 a day, which was better pay than they could expect at other companies.
That's the general
because
area.
The company employed both white and black workers, white unions associated with the shipyard trades couldn't ignore the company, or the Black Caulker Union. The Colored Caulkers Trade Union Society of Baltimore and a white caulkers union that existed during this period even met at times to address grievances within the trade. The co-op earned a reputation in the Chesapeake Bay area for performing high-quality work, which resulted in a lot of business and several contracts coming from the federal government. Within 5 years, it was able to pay off its debt. The co-op apparently went into decline after losing its government contracts to competing companies that employed white workers at lower wages. It ceased operations in 1884 after the lease at Lot 42 was not renewed due to an oversight. This was not the end of Isaac Myers or his role in black organized labor, and I'll be talking about him again in the near future. If this co-op was successful, why didn't black workers, or workers in general, adopt this model elsewhere in the nation? A big obstacle for creating co-ops, both then and now, is acquiring the capital necessary to form the business in the first place. In order to form a cooperative business like the Chesapeake Marine Railway and Dry Dock Company, workers would probably need to sell shares to investors and acquire donations from a wealthy beneficiary or a group of people allied with the cause. A co-op would have to compete with other businesses that have more resources and aren't interested in paying their workers good wages. Looking towards today and the future, while co-ops have drawbacks that make me wonder how effective they can be in the future in certain industries like retail, they have great potential for improving workers' standard of living. In fact, I would argue that worker co-ops might be the best way for workers to achieve ownership of the means of production in the short term. It's because it's legal and it doesn't require any sort of intermediate revolutionary action. But I'll talk about that more when we look at modern co-ops in the future. Thanks for watching. Can you believe I actually made a video that's less than 10 minutes long? It's a Labor Day miracle. If you enjoyed...
Hey. That one's quite long. I don't know if we'll watch that one. That one's long too. I haven't watched this one yet. Let's watch this one. It's not that long.
In 2018, I quit my awful MBA job and started reading about socialism on Reddit. I frequented subreddits like r/breadtube and r/anarchism to cure my then insatiable interest in anti-capitalism. I don't recall when I discovered r/anti-work, but I do remember spending hours there reading questions and facts about anti-work. After becoming an anarchist, I found new value in the subreddit in the form of a space to meet other anarchists and discuss anti-capitalism, anti-work, and other related topics. At least, this was the case until a few months ago when I noticed that this subreddit has a problem. R/anti-work is no longer anti-work. Many of you from R/anti-work are going to stop watching the video, dislike it, and write a comment about why I'm wrong based on that one sentence. But I ask that you have an open mind. Give me a chance to explain what anti-work is and explain the problem with R/anti-work. Anti-work is an ideology that opposes work and seeks to abolish it. Work is involuntary and harmful to ourselves. It is unnecessary labor that people are coerced to do instead of living their lives, and therefore we should abolish it. A common reaction to these statements is that work is necessary for society to function, because most people would define work as any activity involving mental or physical effort done in order to achieve a purpose or result. This isn't what we mean by work. We define work as, to quote Bob Black, forced labor, that is, compulsory production. Work is production enforced by economic or political means, by the carrot or the stick. The carrot is just a stick by other means. But not all creation is work. Work is never done for its own sake. It's done on account of some product or output that the worker, or more often somebody else, gets out of it. To put it another way, work is labor or effort that we are forced to do in order to survive within our current economic system, which is capitalism. When you expend effort at work for wages so that you can afford to buy food, pay rent, and maybe have health care, you are doing work, and that work is caused by the artificially created threat of starvation, houselessness, and sickness by the powers that be, the state, the police, your landlord, and so on. It's for this reason that work cannot be abolished without abolishing capitalism, and why anti-work is anti-capitalist. This is in contrast to any effort we do voluntarily for our own reasons. This video is an example of that. I don't make YouTube videos to make money, to pay rent, or buy food. I make them because I love talking about topics that interest me. This is a basic explanation of anti-work and work versus labor or effort that I think many who adhere to anti-work would agree with. But please be aware that there is a lot more to anti-work than what I have just explained. If you're interested in learning more, some resources can be found in the description below, as well as R/anti-work's sidebar. R/anti-work is overwhelmingly no longer anti-work because of the content that dominates the sub and the conclusion that people draw from said content. It is now a place for people, mainly liberals, to post text messages of them quitting their jobs, stories about dreadful pay and working conditions, and to declare random, unorganized strikes or labor action. Now, liberals creating threads about bad work experiences, recognizing exploitation from bosses, and removing themselves from that sort of work environment is a good thing in moderation. I do want liberals or progressives on the sub. It was in threads like those where they were introduced to explanations of anti-work by anarchists, a starting point that could result in them or someone else reading the thread eventually embracing anti-capitalism and anti-work. No, these posts wouldn't be a problem if they weren't the vast majority of what's posted, and if it wasn't for the conclusion that people are seemingly drawing from these threads. That anti-work is about refusing to work until we have a nice boss, fair wages, and good working conditions, because we would happily work under those conditions. That's not anti-work, that's pro-work. Anti-work isn't about nice bosses, it's about no bosses. Anti-work isn't about fair wages, it's about abolishing the wage system. Anti-work isn't about good working conditions, it's about abolishing work because we hate work. Well, I don't expect everyone on our anti-work to reach this conclusion overnight, or even ever. When the narrative of the sub is dominated by people who say that anti-work isn't about anti-work, I think that's a problem. Instead of seeing anarchist ideas, new visitors will only see liberal misconceptions of an anarchist term, and walk away no closer to anarchism or anti-capitalism than when they entered. The aforementioned misconception of anti-work stems from people who don't understand anti-work, don't understand what we mean by work, and have misconceptions about how anti-work relates to organized labor. And it's here I want to touch on that last point. Come on now, I know my regular viewers didn't think I wasn't going to talk about labor in this video. The video How Anti-Work Could Save the Working World by Sonder Studios, which has nearly 9,000 views at the time of recording, is a perfect example of equating anti-work with organized labor. Here, Sonder attempts to explain the history of anti-work and how it could be used today to save the working class, but instead talks about strikes in the labor movement during the 1930s. In his follow-up video titled How to Anti-Work, Sonder is talking less about how to do anti-work and more about organized labor action in relation to a general strike, specifically the Black Friday blackout general strike thing, which I'll touch on in a moment. And I just want to say I'm not trying to pick on Sonder here, because you see this kind of stuff on our anti-work too. People applying the term anti-work to organized labor action, namely strikes. These are not the same thing. The John Deere strike and Kellogg strike have nothing to do with anti-work. The goal of anti-work is the abolition of work, while organized labor or unions are a possible method to achieve that goal, in some circumstances. If you look at the mainstream labor movement and unions like the UAW or BCTGM, they believe in negotiating with bosses for better pay and benefits, a process known as collective bargaining. When bosses refuse to negotiate fairly and a contract runs out, the workers may go out on strike to put pressure on them to agree to their demands of a fair contract. All of this is generally good, but there's a huge problem. Those unions don't want to abolish capitalism. They believe that employers and workers have common interests. They are pro-work. They are so pro-work, in fact, that they agree to no strike clauses, restricting workers' right to strike for the duration of the collective bargaining agreement. Compare that to the radical labor movement with unions like mine, the industrial workers of the world. The IWW seeks to create rank-and-file run unions at every workplace in the short term and believes in the abolition of the wage system and collective ownership of the means of production in the long term. We believe that the working class and the employing class have nothing in common. We're generally anti-work, though the IWW rejects all political labels. Whether you're anti-work or not, you should organize your workplace. The IWW offers organizer training one-on-one to anyone who wants to learn how to form a solidarity or rank-and-file run union, and I encourage everyone watching this video to take it. About organized labor action and declaring strikes on Reddit. Stop doing that. Actions like the McDonald's strikes, which are really boycotts since they haven't been organized by McDonald's workers, are slacktivism and have little if any effect. Declaring fake general strikes online like the Black Friday blackout is even less effective because those actions never get organized. I know some will say that the blackout contributed to the downturn on Black Friday, but that seems highly unlikely. And no, I'm not just basing that on media reports, I'm basing that on the post here asking what happened and the lack of response to them. Take organizer training and learn how to organize effective direct action that will actually get the better pay and working conditions you desire. Fake general strikes are a distraction from effective organizing. I think the labor misconceptions and fake actions have played a large role in contributing to the problem with our anti-work, so labor resources are linked below. As the sub has continued to grow, misconceptions of anti-work have spread throughout the subreddit and beyond it, essentially becoming the default position. Today, when fellow anarchists on our anti-work attempt to educate people about anti-work and correctly inform them that the subreddit is anarchic, they are more often than not met with vitriol. Productive discussions about anti-work are somewhat difficult to find and appear to have been largely drowned out or disappeared because of the hostility. I've made multiple attempts to strike up a conversation with people about anti-work, correct them on their pro-work misconception of it, and explain how it relates to socialism or anarchism. Most of these conversations were negative, with the other person claiming that anti-work isn't about abolishing work or anti-capitalism, and unsurprisingly repeating all the anti-socialist arguments liberals normally give. They were only interested in the general misconception of anti-work because that's what nearly everyone else on the subreddit is saying. Of course, not every single thread or interaction is like this on the subreddit. I've had positive conversations with people new to the sub about anarchism and organized labor. But the majority of anti-capitalist conversations don't seem to follow this trend because of the current demographics of the subreddit and how they define anti-work. Our anti-work's problem matters because we lost an online anarchist and more generally anti-capitalist space. Our anti-work is no longer really a subreddit for anarchists and potential anti-capitalists to congregate, discuss, and educate people about anti-work and other anarchist ideas. It's become a place severely lacking in anarchist content and often hostile to the very ideas it was created to spread. Meanwhile, the term anti-work has been co-opted and divorced from its original meaning, making it more difficult to introduce people to the idea. It's an incredibly disappointing but unsurprising development to see for the growing subreddit. So how do we fix our anti-work? As much as I like the idea of the creation of a sister sub while leaving this sub as anti-work, I think it's highly unlikely that will happen. But I don't think all is lost either. When the mod started limiting text message screenshots to Sunday, I noticed an improvement in the subreddit, so perhaps small solutions like that might be the trick. Since 85% of people found this subreddit in the past year according to the survey, there should be some sort of disclaimer in the form of a pinned post that anti-work is an anti-capitalist and anarchist concept. A pinned post is best because over 80% of people use our anti-work on mobile according to the survey and can't see the sidebar. It's at least a place to start. The only thing we can really do is keep posting and educating those who are moving left. There's still a lot of great folks doing that, even if they are mostly buried by other posts. Perhaps in time, the sub will balance out and become a space to educate people about anti-work again as the new people begin to embrace socialism. For those watching who aren't anti-capitalists and have made it this far, first off, thank you for watching to this point. Second, please understand that anti-work is an anarchist concept, and that our anti-work is an anti-capitalist subreddit. You should recognize that and at least be open to anti-capitalist ideas and discussions there. We understand that many of you are at different political stages and that the processes of rejecting capitalism is different for everyone. Most of us went down a similar path because of bad work experiences too. I know I did. But if you're not open to critiques of capitalism and only want to complain about work or get better wages and nicer bosses, then you're not anti-work, and there are better places for you to post that kind of content. Thanks for watching. This was a very different video from the type I normally make, but I thought it was worth making. The comment section is going to be beschissen. My intention was never to make a video that would respond to most people on the sub. However, seeing as how they will eventually find this video anyway, I decided to include some information for them. As stated earlier, there are resources in the description below for anyone interested in learning more about the topics I discussed here and then some. I suggest you check out my channel if you're interested in videos about organized labor, including general strikes. Speaking of, I'm still working on the general strike series and the last 2 videos will come out sometime next year. Until we meet again, see ya.
Heard there was some legislation for marijuana legalization. Oh, wow.
The House is voting on a bill to legalize marijuana. What do we know about where that bill is, what's actually included in it, and really how likely it is to pass?
It is very likely to pass the House of Representatives. A similar version has passed the House before. Democrats appear to have the votes to do it. It would effectively legalize marijuana nationwide. It would end criminal penalties for the manufacture, the distribution, and sale. And it would also set up procedures to tax cannabis products nationwide. Of course, what happens next is the big question. It goes to the Senate. There is a real desire among some top Democrats, including Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York, to decriminalize and legalize marijuana nationwide. But of course, as you know, Morgan, anything in the Senate needs 60 votes, and that would be an uphill climb.
All right, Sahil Kapoor joining us with the latest. We appreciate it, Sahil.
Wild.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top.
There's so many discussions that have gone on over the years about the use of marijuana or cannabis or whatever. The fact is, it exists, it's being used. We've got to address how it is treated legally.
On this vote, the yeas are 220 and the nays are 204. bill is passed,
Whoa. Interesting. Interesting. W's?
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
Are we taking W's in 2022? Interesting. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me open Discord. Incrementalist bullshit W's, but W's nonetheless. If we get federal marijuana legalization and also nationwide, or at least an increase in union activity nationwide. What should I do? Should I play Mortal Kombat? Thinking I might play Mortal Kombat. I haven't played Mortal Kombat in a while. Give amnesty to the drug war POWs. Facts. 1000%. Nah, I honestly don't think it'll pass the Senate, but it's cool that they're at least floating it out there, I think. But no, I don't believe it'll pass the Senate. I don't think it's got a snowball's chance. Once it gets to the Senate, it's pretty much dead in the water. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think it'll. Oh, me. guys hear the game sound? Yeah, I feel that, Frackle. You guys can hear the game sound? Because I cannot. Turn the sound back up if it's... Oh no, I accidentally turned the monitor off. That's cool though. Link to my Discord? Sure, hang on. Also add stream chat. That might be too big, but we'll see.
Special Forces Desert Command.
I have a subscriber count up there.
You tangled with my baby girl.
She bled like the child she is.
Time for the grown-ups to bleed.
Round 1. Fight!
You'll get the shell.
Born of blood.
Final round. Fight.
So much blood.
Finish him. Brutality. Scarlet wins. Flawless victory.
This is a nice brutality, though.
You tangled with my baby girl.
She bled like the child she is.
Time for the grown-ups to bleed.
Round 1. Fight! Round 2. Fight!
I'm smoking. Shut up and come.
Brutality.
Now that's just sad.
Jax wins.
Bleeding you conflicts me.
Got no qualms beating you senseless.
In that case, I shall feast.
Round 1. Fight!
Bleed for me.
Fight.
So much more.
Finish her.
That's a W. First game W. The friendship. The mid-friendship quit out.
Friendship. Jax wins.
Get played off. Get played off. Nice. Got a nice 3D print. I got a nice 3D print going. And it's almost ready. It's almost ready.
Kitana.
Kitana.
Jax. Shirai Ryu Fire Garden.
Yo, what up, Castle Kingside?
Fight.
Yeah, I play on PS4. Bink. What up, Bink Princess?
Round 2. Fight.
You lack elegance and grace.
BBC.
Final round. Fight.
Much too slow.
Finish her.
Cheapness. With the cheapness. Gotta be cheap.
Jax wins.
Get hit with the cheap shit. Gotta be cheap. Forever the cheapest. Cheap boy.
Round 1. Fight.
Command grabs.
You'll get shelled. Get some.
Is crazy.
Round 2. Fight.
Damn, my man cut the lag on. You said prom was ass? Damn, I'm sorry, I hear that. My prom was cool, but it wasn't all that. So I feel you. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. Especially now that we've got 10 Twitch viewers. Ooh, this boy is laggy. I'm gonna go ahead and decline that one. He's a little laggy boy. He's big lagged up. Feeling tired? Yeah, I'm tired too. It's been a long week. It's been a long week. That it has. Did I just fight this guy? I just fought this guy.
Black Dragon Fight Club.
Bleeding you conflicts me.
Got no qualms beating you,
It's gonna be a
senseless.
rematch.
In that case, I shall feast.
Round 1. Fight. Round 2. Fight.
I'll pull him right.
So much impressed? This is a bloodbath.
Let him get too many setups.
Final round. Fight.
Oh, good game. He's mad. I don't know why you would do that.
Finish her.
Get on the ground.
Jax wins.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. My man's about to forfeit. My man forfeited the set. You hate to see it. You really do. What's up, Magnus? Yeah, the grenade launch of the face is what really finishes it off, what really makes it. Oh no, his connection's dirty too. Can't be playing against people like that. The gross connection. That yellow bar. Yeah, it's an excellent day for unions. Absolutely, Magnus. We were talking about the Amazon Union, and we was watching Alki stream for a minute, talking about like what a union is and collective bargaining and stuff. And also for my podcast, we are interviewing some organizers from the MICA, the art school, local art school here, their student union and their workers union, the BMA's union. There's just there's mad organization happening across the country right now, and it's a wild time to be alive for sure. I might have to play something else. I might have to play Elden Ring or something, or some Dead by Daylight or something. Maybe Hunt Showdown again. Or perhaps some Soul Calibur. I haven't played Soul Calibur in a while. This guy's on the hard wire and he's still yellow bar. Ugh, I don't understand. Yeah, Magnus. I would definitely learned all that I've learned about unions within the last 5 years, probably, I would say. Hey, thanks for the raid, Proudly Radical. Shout out to Kai. I don't know if that worked. I haven't set up my stream elements commands yet, but thank you, Car Accident. I appreciate you. We were just talking about how awesome it is that the Amazon Union, that actually happened. Thank you, Kai.
Rain.
I am a Jax main, for people who don't know.
Special Forces Desert Command.
Welcome to the stream. The dummy thick raid. Probably Radical's been pulling up with the 50-man raids, at least the 50-person raids. Pretty consistent. Shout out to they've been wonderful.
We've got you surrounded, Brain.
My audience.
Then shall we begin the party?
Because Twitch can be a little. Twitch politics specifically can be a little hostile.
Round one. Fight.
People like me. Grab. Yes, welcome Raiders. Thank you, Katrina Kaiju, for the follow.
Fight.
Yeah, apparently the Alabama one's not doing so hot still. They're doing a recount, but it's more successful now than it was. Because if I'm not mistaken, it was like 2-1 nay before, right? Something crazy like that.
You're getting shelled.
don't do me like that. I'm trying.
Finish him.
Yeah, Jax has been my main since in the original Mortal Kombat I main Sub-Zero, but ever since MK2 I've main Jax. Jax or Noob Saibot, but I'm not very good with Noob Saibot in this game. The only other character I play as in this game is Scarlet, and I'm not very good with Scarlet compared to how good I am with Jax.
Round 1. Fight.
You're getting shelled.
Oh my god, I forgot. I used all my meter for that.
At least challenge.
Round 2. Fight.
I'm pulling rank.
So weak.
Raid wins.
I'm not that good. I'm pretty good. But I'm not that good. My 3D print's almost done. I'm actually going to make my camera a little bit smaller. Oh no. But I'm gonna also center it. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. Welcome to the stream, everyone. I am EndlessCemetery. I am a black anarchist. And yeah, I like to play as Jax.
Gearus. Jax. Tank Garage Bunker.
This is kind of my thing. This is what I do.
You fight for a hopeless future.
I fight to live life on my terms.
We have a better plan for you. Round 1, fight. Get stronger. Round 2, fight.
Get up and fight.
Get bink to death.
Final round, fight.
What? That was pretty nuts.
Finish him. Wins.
I can't even blame that on the lag. That was all me.
Round 1, fight.
It's been a long day.
Big zones.
Round 2, fight.
Oh my god, what? What? Oh my fucking god. I had to have known he was gonna do that.
Your end is near. Final round. Fight!
Shut up.
Finish him. Jax wins.
I was mad about that one.
Cassie Cage, Jax.
Uh-oh.
Cassie Cage.
The
Shang
predeterminado
Tsung's Island
Cassie
Rules.
Cage. Not good.
Round one. Fight!
Still big.
Round two. Fight!
Busted!
Ah! I can't believe I missed the crushing blow there.
BRB.
Final round. Fight!
Eat a fat one!
block.
Cage wins.
Definitely should have blocked. Alrighty. Oh my goodness. So many Wi-Fi warriors. What's up with all these Wi-Fi warriors? There we go. They're on Wi-Fi, but at least they're green bar.
Jackie Briggs. Jax Tournament.
Jax. I'm about to get clapped by this Jackie. That's how this is gonna go. That's how it was really always meant to go, honestly. I'm gonna be playing MK11. She's gonna be playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Don't have time for a lecture.
Round 1. Fight!
Barely.
Round 2. Fight.
Need a medic.
fight. Finish him.
Tried to command grab.
Jackie
My print
Briggs
finished as well,
wins.
so I'll have that to show you in a moment. I think this one's going to be for Grimlow.
Round one, fight.
Time's up, punk.
Round two, fight.
Had enough sport? No pain, no
I need my
gain.
buttons off.
Final round, fight. Finish her. Jax wins.
It's close. Very close.
Round one, fight.
You're nothing.
Round two, fight. Fight.
Give it up.
Ah, so close.
Fatality.
Ew, what a mess.
Jackie Briggs wins.
Nice brutality. Let me show you guys what I printed. So yeah, that's what I just printed. Much more satisfied with the quality of this print than the other ones, for sure. I'm gonna need to make a bunch more of these.
Baraka. Shaolin Trap Dungeon. Round 1, fight! Round 2, fight!
Time's up, punk.
Final round, fight! Finish him!
Slam him.
Jax wins.
Big slams. Keep slamming them. Just keep slamming them. That's the strat. Just keep slamming them.
Devora, Aaron Black. Special Forces, Desert Command. Round 1, fight! Final round. Fight!
Whoa!
Finish him!
Whoa!
Friendship. Jax wins.
This orientation in this print looks really good.
Melina. Jax. Tank Garage Bunker.
Tell me how to defeat Liu Kang.
Like I'll spill to you about your sister's boyfriend.
Then you trade your life for his.
Round 1. Fight.
Yo, Sharky, thank you for the raid.
Round 2. Fight.
Let's get a W for Sharky. Yo, I'll address chat in a moment after I take this L and this W, whichever comes first. Thanks for coming in, everyone. Shout out to Sharky. Make sure you're following Sharky. I'm sure if you follow me, you're already following Sharky. that's for Sharky right there.
Brutalis Jax wins.
Hello, I'm Endless Cemetery. That was a sick comeback, wasn't it?
Kitana. Kotal's Coliseum.
Nah, this is Thank you, Bell Whisperer. Nah, this is whoops, an actual crowd. Someone messaged me. Thanks, Actual Cloud. I appreciate you for suggesting the Rizade. I was just getting ready to get off, but I'm going to play some more games now. If you guys want to hang out for a minute. I'll play some. Like it though. Thanks for the follow, y'all. I knew that was coming. But the almighty butt.
Round 2. Fight.
Thank you, Transic. I appreciate you following me and hanging out for a sec. Yeah, I was trying to get some union stuff going. That was close.
Final round. Fight.
Unlucky. Guessed wrong.
Brutality.
Damn, that's gotta sting.
Jax wins.
So, on that note, thank you for checking me out, everyone. I'm Endless Cemetery. I'm a black anarchist. I stream leftist content. I stream news and media coverage from a leftist perspective. I guess you could say I'm just a black worker living in Baltimore, and I call it like I see it. And I also play video games. I'm pretty good at video games, I think. I play Mortal Kombat 11. I compete in tournaments in Mortal Kombat 11. Typically, I haven't done it in a while, but yeah, I think I'm one of the best Jax players on planet Earth. I can demonstrate that if anyone is open to challenge me on that. And I think unions are based and POG and red pilled. And yeah, I'm glad that we exist in a current timeline. As fucked up and as shitty as things are in the country, I'm glad there's at least the impetus to organize and create some sort of organized labor force. It's not a high bar to clear. Yeah, I feel that. But this past Sunday, I did a stream, mutual aid fundraising stream. I streamed for 12 hours straight Xander Hall and Dylan Burns came through for a hot minute, along with some other streamers like Seaweed hung out with me, Critical Ace 3 hung out with me, Boy Meets Mini, a bunch of other streamers. We raised almost $800 for the Baltimore chapter of Food Not Bombs, or like Baltimore Food Not Bombs, the organization here. I'm a big supporter of Food Not Bombs. And yeah, I want to talk more about Food Not Bombs. I talked to Gary briefly today when I was dropping off the cash to him about possibly hanging out with him and like live streaming him while he cooks, and we jam the music and stuff and talk about music scene stuff and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's kind of my thing. I hope you enjoy my content and that you enjoy hanging out with me. Let's get back to some Mortal Kombat games. Oh man, I'm gonna do probably like 2 more games and we'll figure out who to raid out to. Who's on right now? Is Prisma on? Probably raid out to Prisma. Yep, Prisma's online.
Shang Tsung. Jax. Tank
Shout out to
Garage
Actual
Bumper.
Cloud and shout out to Shark 300. And Actual Cloud, you are based and Pog. Thank you for the light or for the follow, Ringo Shiro. And thank you, Che Dooley, as well. The Fourth Reich? It depends. It depends. On certain parts of the country, for sure. I think people are being radicalized in a way that is quite alarming towards fascism.
The death of her commander.
Especially like in the cities and stuff, I feel like...
So disappointing.
Round 2. Fight! Really? The fatality on the first match? Fatality.
I always forget how brutal that fatality is.
Samsung wins.
Hush you in. Sonya's not here to save you, Jax.
She'll be sad she missed this smackdown.
She can grieve the death of her commander.
Round 1. Fight.
Get up and fight.
Round 2. Fight. Finish him.
Had to end it quickly.
Wins.
I think I'm gonna end it after. I'm gonna raid and end after this game.
Hush you in. Sonya's not here to save you, Jax.
She'll be sad she missed this smackdown.
She can grieve the death of her commander.
Round 1. Fight.
Nope.
Round 2. Fight.
Get caught by that. I'm confused about that one. We're trying to do a command grab there. Failed.
So disappointing.
Final round. Fight. Fight! Finish him!
Hit him with the old friendship. Ba-da. Unionize your workplace. Organize your workplace. Hey, Basic PJ, thank you for the 3-man. The 3-person raid. Unfortunately, I will be heading off to... I'll be handing you all off. I'll be leaving you in perfectly capable hands with Prisma. Thanks for following and thanks for checking me out, everyone. I am Endless Cemetery. I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check me out sometime. I appreciate you. Love. Have a good night. Have a good weekend.
Songs from Priest 2.